Yes, sir.
Okay. Yesterday I uploaded the next steps. Okay. So if you haven't went in there yet, we're going to go ahead and do a little screen share. I'll show you the next steps we got to go into. So if you go in back in, this is what we're going to be going over today. After the sessions, the videos are always going to be uploaded in here. Yesterday was just an introduction playback. So in lesson 2, give me 1 second, admit all these people in. All right. So if you go here, go to lesson 2, it's the GMB audit. We'll go there real quick. If you haven't already done so, print this off whenever you get a moment. You can download this. You can print it off from here, or you can just download it from here and save it on your computer. This is everything we're going to be going over today. And then if you go over here, we have an audit form. This form is what I use whenever I'm auditing my competition and my current site. And we're going to go through all these steps. It may seem pretty simple, but these forms is what's going to save you, and you can compare and, if you will, reverse engineer everything. This right here is another form. It's categories of the competition. You know, what categories are they using? What's their primary category, secondary, and so on and so forth. Then at the very end, we're going to cover spammy listings. If you download this, this is my spammy competition cheat sheet. So let's go ahead and get started. So let me pull this up. I'm going to stop the screen share. There is, I'm going to pull it up real quick for y'all. So step 1, whenever I take on a client, or client, agency, anything, or even with my audits, whenever someone asks me to just do an audit for them, my process, like I told you, we're going to be using this term a lot. It's called reverse engineering. It's not necessarily, a lot of people, it's like with SEO, they go, it's so complicated. And reality is, I mean, it's complicated if you go, what is SEO? What's the technical SEO? What's an SSL certificate? What's, what's a 404 page? What's a sitemap? All this stuff, those basic steps. But if you look at SEOs, okay, what is my competition to do to getting ranked? And I do the same thing, then it's really not that complicated. I mean, it's complicated, but it's not. So what we're going to do is try to make this as simple as possible for everybody that's here. And a lot of people that don't know, if you will, SEO from a technical point of view, because you don't have to know it. If you don't have a team, you can hire a team, or you can learn it yourself. By the end, when we're done, you should be able to do most of this stuff by yourself at least. So when we go to do an audit, there's a new extension I've been using a lot of. A, it's one that I'm a partner on. B, besides that, I used to do all these manually until I came across this. It's called GMB Crush. It's a Google extension. So the first thing I'm going to want y'all to do, and I'm going to show you, demo it today, is go to, in that spreadsheet, step 1 is go to the Google Chrome store, and I have the link there. Go to extensions, and you're going to search for GMB Crush. And like I said yesterday, if I mention a tool, y'all have tools that you believe in that work, email me, let me know about them, and we will, I will go through them and see what I think about them. If they're of any benefit whatsoever to everybody, I will let everybody know about them, and even try to demo them as well. GMB Crush, essentially, let me pull this up and I'm going to demo it for you. And there's many things I like about it, but this is the number one. So the first thing we'd wind up doing, let me pull this. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on screen share. That way you could see everything. So the first step we would take, once we got GMB Crush installed, it's this right here, right? So what it essentially, when I run this, it's going to tell me what's the title of the competition, what's their status, is it, you know, what's the categories they're using, what's their rating, how many reviews do they got, what's their description, what's their post count, when was the last, how many posts they posted in the past 90 days, how many posts did they post past 90 days. That's just the basics. This is the free version. Obviously they have a paid version that they're going to be releasing, but what this does essentially is give me a quick breakdown of some of these things, and we're going to go through all of it. So for example, let's go ahead, and the next step we'd go to, we're going to run an audit. So we're going to go to the maps, right? And let's say, give me one of your guys' niches and area location or your business. Message me. I'm looking for, let's say, a roofer. We got anybody with roofer in here? Roofer industry, plumber, anything like that? Put it in the chat so I can go ahead and maybe give you a real quick demo of an actual live, you know. Otherwise, I'm going to do this electrician. All right. All right, so we'll do a couple of these. I'm going to pick out CT Operations Roofing. Where is it located? CT Operations Roofing. Let me pull this and see if I can pull it. Yep, I got it. So you're located in Leesburg, Virginia. I used to live in West Virginia. Give me 1 second. So right here, here's the C2 Operations Roofing window door replacement, right? So you got 104 reviews. There's, you know, many things I'm looking at, but whenever I look at something, okay, what's my business name? And if you pull up the GMB audit form, you'll notice I have everything step 1 and step 2. What's your name, address, phone number? Do you have the keyword in your business name? Do you have the location in your business name? Do you have your website link? What are your categories? Do you have your hours of operation, payment methods, description, coupons? Are you replying to reviews? Are you using keywords in your replies to your reviews? How many posts are you using? What type of copies being used in your posts? What type of links are being used in your posts? Q&As, I literally go through all this. But so with GMB Crush, I'm going to look at this. So you're in not West Virginia, but Virginia. And this is in specific Leesburg. So I'm going to compare you to another company in the same location. And let's just say roofer, Leesburg. Yeah, I'm just curious. Maybe you're number 1, maybe you're not. You're number 2. So that's awesome. But what's the difference between you, and I'm probably going to guess that you probably, do you bounce between number 1 and 2, or are you always number 2? Admit all. Okay, so let's go ahead and audit this. And close this out. And so now once we got it up, we have our extension put in, and we've pulled this location up in the maps, right? We just hit search now. And I could see your roofing contractor, you got more than one category. You have your main contract, you have your main category, etc. But I just sit back and it goes through all the data, pulls all the data. and it's going to tell me certain things I'm going to need, and then I'm going to take that information, I'm going to put it into my audit form. Now, if I was doing this for your competition, it'd be kind of similar. I'm going to give you another one where I was doing yesterday, and you'll find some consistencies that may not seem like much, but when you look at them, it's a lot.
Hey, William, while
Mm,
that data is being loaded, I had a question
mm,
in regards to the GMB postings.
mm.
So I don't know if you saw my comment on one of your group member who had like over 1,500 Google GMB posts,
Yeah,
1,500 GMB posts in 90 days. But
yeah.
I looked at his GMB and I think majority of those were offering posts. Is there a limitation on the type of the posts you can do per day?
I
So look,
I personally would not do that many, because for me, the best thing I'm going to tell you is, does it look natural to Google? Does it look like it's fake? By fake, I mean, who in the world has time to post 1,500 posts in 90 days? I just don't. I mean, that says a lot of
yeah,
it.
well, yeah, I did the math. His one was coming to 16 posts per day. And
Yeah,
then when I went through
no.
his GMB, it was timed at every 1 hour. So
Yeah, he
that's
has a
what got me
bot.
a little bit thinking.
Yeah, he has a bot, or he has a program doing it. I'll show you another guy, and I'll show you if I'm going to do more than one post, which I never do. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to show you what I would do, but I can I could do the same essential thing with one post when we get to it. And I'm going to show you, we're going to go through a couple of these from students in the class, and then I'm going to show you one I was doing last night and
Okay.
some variations. So
All
this
right. Thank
tells
you.
me, yep, this tells me, for example, gives me your title. I can copy all this information, put it over in my GMB audit form, which is why I lay it out the way I lay it out. So I copy the name, put it over here. How many categories you have? It did not pull them, but I did see how many, obviously how many categories you had. You had multiple categories. The rating, what you're rating, how many reviews do you have? It pulls, this right here, how many post count you have, and copy, or you can clear the data. Now, let me go back out of here. So let's go back to maps. And
William, can you
let's,
restate what does that PC and PC Go and PD mean?
so it's post count, and then PC 90, what it looks like is how many have happened in the past 90 days and how many have happened after 90 days. Like, what is their post count? Are they posting, and are they posting every day? Are they posting once a month? Are they posting, not only that, but what are they posting? What are they linking to? I mean, it's multiple things. And I'm going to show you one I did last night, and it breaks it down. I mean, the guy, I would have sworn he had hired me. But I was like, I don't see too many people do a lot of the things that I was seeing last night. But so, for example, we copy this over, copy his name. We got that one. I see he has roofing contractor, repair service, siding contractor, window installation. You have all that, right? It's great. Now let me look at this. Your reviews. They're using photos. The person left a review. He was a local guide, which is awesome. He goes and responds, and I'm gonna tell you what I would do different, why I would do it different, and everything when you come to these responses. Awesome, Jacob. Thanks so much for the 5-star rating and positive comments about your experience with us. Um, CT operations. Chris, we really appreciate the 5-star rating and review. Every project, it's not the standard. What a lot of people do is they just respond and say, thank you, much appreciated. Thank you, we appreciate it. It's just, there's no thought or effort put into it usually. So at least you're putting the thought and effort into it. And then also you'll notice sometimes when people are leaving reviews, they're using the keywords in the reviews, which is awesome. Anytime someone is leaving you a review, if at all possible, encourage them not only to leave the review, but also to use your keywords in the review. Okay. When you respond, for example, if I was to respond to, let's say, Chris Crouch, and we did, let's say, give me another one. If we had one of these guys and it was a roof, or let's say a patio repair or roof repair, I would have responded and said, Chris, we really appreciate the 5-star rating. We're glad we could help you with your roof repair. We love our customers. Please spread the word, CT Operations. I would have used one of my keywords inside of, my review response. That's the only thing I would have done different, because honestly, your reviews are really good. And on top of them, they're using some of the keywords. Your responses are not canned, which is what I see a lot of people do, is they just respond and use the automated AI responses, which, at least you're responding to reviews, I guess. But if you're going to respond, at least put some effort into them. So we looked at this, and then you have your booking calendar link, which is awesome. Let's see where you have your booking calendar link going. So it's going to schedule a free estimate, which is on your website, which is good. Then you have your menu link, which is going to your website. You have your website link, which is great. A lot of people won't do this. They'll be like, I don't have a menu because I'm not a restaurant or whatever. But, the thing is, I tell people, think of, if you will, your GMBs just like your website. Use as many assets on it as possible. Okay. Use your booking calendar, use everything possible. You got your phone number, got your address here, or your code, plus code, address up here, plus code here. Then you have this right here, your post. We'll go through these posts. So we'll go through a lot of what I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But so you have a post in one day, you have a post 3 days ago, you have a post on the 14th, a post on the 12th. You're not posting every day, but at least you're posting a couple of times a week for the most part. Let's see. Just trying to see what and why. So there's a couple of things you're not doing that I would do. And I'll show you another example of this. When you go to create a post, you can choose, make it a learn more link, right? So it links over to, let's say, your service page, your location page, or even, another social media outlet or another website or one of your other assets. So you're not doing that, and I would do that. There is one thing I'm going to show you on another one I audited, which is a perfect example of it. So you are posting pretty often, which is good. And I put all this information on this sheet that I want you guys to download, the GMB audit form, because I use that for every one of our clients. And so I go through here, and now look at his description. He's got a pretty good description going on. He has everything he has filled out. Now, what I want to look at is, for example, this one might not be the best case scenario, but we'll see. So I want to see who's actually beating you. Let's say it's Ashburn Pro Roofing. If I was to, you can use the GMB Crush audit tool, which I've already shown you guys. You just pull it up in Maps instead of Google search. Yeah, let's go to Maps. Ashburn Pro Roofing. Now you can see his different categories, his main category, And once again, you can use the categories of competition spreadsheet I have, and I would take what's his number one category is this right here, roofing contractor. His secondary ones are these right here, the gutter cleaning, siding contractor, because most roofers, if you're in the roofing industry, I have several clients that do it. They do roofing, gutters, siding. Some of them will do remodels and stuff like that. So if we look at this, we can run the audit and pull everything, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it manually too. He's got 56 reviews. Let's look at his reviews. And one thing I noticed right off the bat is he doesn't overcomplicate his header or his title. It's real simple, Ashburn Pro Roofing. And we'll get into some other things in regards to titles in a bit. He's not responding a lot to he's responding somewhat to some of his reviews. Let's say yesterday he got a review. He responded to that one. Thank you for the 5-star review. Appreciate the review under your name. He's talking about fake review move, but it was written in the, okay. He's talking about something about fake review. He's got a review. He's talking about it's fake. At least he's responding to the quote unquote fake reviews, because I know that is I did a video of it the other day. They actually used to only allow you to, report, is it harassment? Is it a violation of policy? Stuff like that. Now they have it where you can report it if you think it's spam. I've already been using that. It has not led to anything being removed, so I'm not impressed. I was impressed that they actually added it, but now they just need to actually utilize it where it actually does something, because a lot of times these reviews come through obviously fake, and then like this person, he's led one review, they've led two, but generally you'll see them come through as this, they've left one review here, and if you look at the reviews, then they're in Uzbekistan one day and they're in Thailand the next, or in America the next. So their reviews, they're not responding, but they are using keywords just like in yours. They're using the keywords in their reviews that are being left. I would also do it inside of my review responses. So number one thing I noticed so far between you and them is their title is not as complicated. Yours, it's like CT, roofing, gutter, and it mentions several things in it instead of just roofing. That's the main thing I see. Now, they don't have the booking link. Let's see how many posts they do, if they've got any posts going on. I don't see any posts whatsoever on them. So I look at all that stuff, and then on top of it, when we get into it, it's likely going to be tomorrow, we'll look at the backlinks, and I can do the same one tomorrow, because it could be how many backlinks you have, what's their website like, is it optimized, stuff like that. But based upon, just their GMB, I wouldn't see any reason why they should be ranked higher than you. Now let's look at all the photos and see if they're actually doing anything with photos. So you can see they're posting quite a bit of photos. A lot of it, some of it looks like stock, some of it looks like it's real. We can go over to C2 and see, that was the one thing we didn't look at. See how many photos y'all are uploading. So it's about the same. I'd say probably based on what I see, y'all are probably bouncing between 1 and 2. You don't have as many photos as them, but now let me give you another one. And I did this one yesterday. So let's go back here and I'll show you this so you can see it live. Electrician, Winnipeg. I actually have a client that we're dealing with this right now. So if I was to go to this with you guys and look at all this together, why and I look at common denominators, and this is why I have this spreadsheet. So I go, this one, this number one is Endeavor Electric space, colon, space residential electrician Winnipeg. PowerTech Electric Inc., comma, or, slash Winnipeg electricians. They're using electrician, their location, their keyword location, keyword location. This guy is the only one. He's number 3, and he has 105 reviews. He's below the guys that have only 30 something reviews. And he's not using a keyword except electric, which is not going to help. To me, I would rather use electrician, residential, commercial electrician, stuff like that with your location. This guy down here, Sykes Electric. Then this guy right here has and I was wondering, I was like, what's the difference? If I look at this guy has the location and the keyword in here, but why isn't he ranking? And what's the difference? I mean, this might not mean nothing, but for me, I look at different. If you look at these two side by side, I want you to see if you notice anything. Like if you see this one, he has Endeavor Electric space, comma, space, residential electrician Winnipeg. This guy down here, you notice what he doesn't have. He has Mellow Tech Electric, no space, and it's just connected to the word, right? There's no space. It's connected to the word. This is just different little things that I notice whenever I'm doing things. So,
William, shouldn't the words electrician Winnipeg be removed from the title? Because isn't that the wrong thing to do?
I would disagree with that. I would agree and I would disagree. Okay. And I'll get to that and tell you why. So we'll cover all that. So basically, and I'm going to break this guy's stuff down, the Endeavor Electric, because he was a prime example of what I would do if it was me. And but so for example, what you brought up, Andy, in regards to the keyword and the location being in the title. Okay. I will agree. And there are lots of people that will say this. It is against Google terms of services to have your location and keyword stuffing in the title. I agree that it is against the Google terms of services to do so if it is not your actual business name. So the way I tell people to do stuff, if it was me and I had it's a fresh new client, and they haven't had a website, that sort of thing. I go, okay, for me, if I wanted to be an electrician in Winnipeg, I would name my business, for example, Electrician Winnipeg, or Residential Electrician Winnipeg, Commercial Electrician Winnipeg. And I would get a DBA. I would have my business name as such. I would have my exact domain name match as such. Everything I did would be as such. Why? Because if they ever go to say you're, if you will, violating Google's terms of services, you're not, as long as you have the DBA and business registered as such. Now, we're going to get into the other sheet I have, which is spamming listings, and you'll see this a lot in locksmith industry, roofing industry, towing industry, garage door industry, a lot of the spammy industries, several of which I do have clients in. But what happens is they'll have, let's say they'll name their company is called Roofing Dallas, Texas. And really the name of their company is not Roofing Dallas, Texas. It's something totally different. I go and with that spreadsheet, I put this information down and then I report them, and some people are against that. Some people aren't, but I'll show you all that Excel spreadsheet as well.
Hey, William.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just wanted to point out this GMB could be ranking is because the way the keyword you have written down.
Mm-hmm.
So your keyword has electrician Winnipeg.
Correct.
and their GMB follows that pattern, that could
Correct.
be a small ranking factor versus the other one where they have it the other way around.
Correct. These are all little things that I noticed. That's why I was saying I take all that information, and on that GMB audit form, which I'll pull it over here, I have my site, who's number one, I put there here, who's number two, who's number three, do they have a keyword in the business, all that information, I put it all in here so I can look at everything side by side, and then I highlight whatever's different. So I notice different things. And then there's something else, this little trick that most people don't know about, or at least I haven't found most people know about. Oh, let's go to, I believe, yep, it's this one. So this guy who bounces between number 1 and 2, because those two actually bounce. You know, they're, can you see my screen where I'm showing you the post reviews?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so their learn more, if you look at their posts, and this is what I've discussed before, most people think I'm crazy for saying it because they don't know you could do it. But they're creating a post, and okay, they're posting, this one was 4 hours ago. Guess where they're linking it to? Do you think they're linking it to their website? They're linking it to their CID or their Google Map. Then this one is being linked to through Bitly. So if you, what they're doing, if you open this link, let's go ahead and open the link. It's a Bitly link, but it's going to their website. All right. Then this one is going to their Google Maps. Then this one, Bitly. Google Maps, Bitly, Google Maps, Bitly. He does this through the entire thing. I found this yesterday. He usually is number 1 and he bounces between number 1 and 2. Right.
Can I ask about the Bitly? Is there a difference in that versus like,
Correct.
is that just tracking or
Nope. And
Tell me
so what I do, for example, when we do, we'll take, let's say, all of your service areas or all your different, your pillar content and all your locations. And whenever we go to do it, and I found this not even, I started doing this about a month ago, mainly because I noticed this, was we'll take those service areas, I'll create Bitly links, and then I'll use those Bitly links as my learn more links, or I'll post them in the actual copy, because you'll see sometimes people will post them, the copy will have the map, and then we'll also have the Bitly link. We'll have them both in there. And why do we use Bitly? I cannot tell you that I have proof of this other than this. If I take a website and I build a new page, and then I try to get that new page indexed, sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it takes a while. It's not always instant. And there's sometimes it's instant. And anybody that does SEO knows this. Now, I can take a page, create it now, throw it through Bitly, and within probably 24 hours or less, it's already indexed. Okay, number 1, that's the first thing. And number 2, if you look at Bitly, everything I've seen coming from Bitly, when it registers it as a backlink, and it is registering it as a high DA backlink. It's giving you, it's push, and from what I've seen, I have no proof of it, but I personally believe it's pushing some of its DA authority through.
Okay,
I've just noticed, and the fact is, I've done it for new sites, and then as soon as I start doing it, they're ranking and pulling in ranking factors on Ahrefs and already pulling keyword rankings.
Interesting.
And that's in less than a week.
Wow.
So, and the only difference between one other client I had and this client, because I did do 2 different methods, was one went through Bitly, one didn't. That was the only difference. But with this one in specific, he's linking that learn more to his Google Maps as well as his Bitly. He's not putting his direct link except through Bitly. Okay.
Plus the Bitly link shows up on Ahrefs as a high DA link.
Correct.
As well.
And that's what I was noticing in between that one and the other one. So that's one aspect. And then if we go to, let me show you, there's a bunch of other things we can do, but let me pull this up real quick. So that's that information. And then we go through, of course, what categories they have, what ones we don't have, what's their hours of operation, what's their payment methods, what's their description. Most people don't realize you can actually put 750 characters inside that description, not just, one paragraph. Try to use it as much as possible. Now, Google will only display 250 characters, but it doesn't mean you can't use the full 750. Your replies, your reviews, are you using your keywords in there? Are you having your customers use it as much as possible? Your posts, how often are you posting? How often are they posting? What type of copy are you using? Are you using the bit.ly links? Are you using the maps links? If you want to know how to get your maps link, you just go to Google Maps, type in your business name, let's say, in this case was C2 Operations, share. There you go. There's your link. The other thing I do whenever we're doing posts as well, and I do this for my backlinking purposes, every one of my posts have a link. If you look at your posts, they all have links. Let's go down to here. Like you don't have them on this one, but on this one right here, if I wanted to share this has a link. I can take this and I copy it and I put it in an Excel sheet. And what happens is I then have that in Excel sheet whenever I go to do backlinks or quote unquote put some link juice through. I use them to my GMB posts as well, my GMB maps, my business site. I use every asset as possible on Google. Okay.
Can you explain that a second? When you're so you copy that link,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you were going to do another GMB post on the learn more, you would put that link in there. Is that what you're saying?
No. So
Okay,
the first thing I do is you're going to take all your service location pages, all your deep links that are on your website, push them through bit.ly and get your short links. Okay. You make a spreadsheet of those. Right. And then you copy your maps link, which you can get from here. Let's say it was CT operations, right? I go share and here's my maps link. So I copy that and I always have it. So every time I'm doing my posts, I have my bit.ly links and I also have my GMB map link and I use those.
okay.
I will either put them inside of I will either switch them and put them inside the post or I'll use them as learn more. But I always use both. This guy's actually doing 2 posts a day. And on one post, he'll use the map. One post he uses the bit.ly. Now, when I was saying, and what you're asking about is whenever I do my actual posts, I go in there and I'll post this and then I'll grab this link. And then I'll grab this link. I'll grab every one of them every time we do them, put them in an Excel spreadsheet. That way, whenever we go to do the backlinking, we have all those links and we actually do backlinking to these as well. Most people, I've had people tell me, I didn't believe you could actually do backlinking to this. You can backlink.
We talked about later how to do it.
Yep. I have all the tools and I have the tools that I use. Besides blog outreach and everything else, I do use automated bots on a lot of my stuff. And a lot of people will tell you, some of them will say, oh, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. And I'll tell them all the time, it doesn't work if you don't use it right. You could have a $4,000 computer and it's not going to work if you don't know how to use it. So that's that aspect of it. So if you look at the more info links, this guy's doing it twice a day. He's rotating them. Deep link or location, what I call deep link is your service pages or location pages. And we'll definitely be going over that. The way I structure a website, for example, on your websites, do you have location or areas you service page? And on that, do you have sub pages in which you break down, let's say in Australia, you have suburbs in the Western area, you'll have, let's say 50 suburbs. Do you have 50 pages for all those suburbs? I do. you know, and that's one of the things I'll do. And then I'll also break it down even further and put the neighborhoods in those suburbs and then link those neighborhoods to their GMAPs. And we're going to go over all that, but that's some things I look at as far as deep linking location service pages. And then when you're creating these posts, are you creating them as, for example, let's say you serve all of Australia, but this particular post, we're going to talk about Brisbane, Australia electrician. You know, the next post, we're going to talk about another location, you know, and we're going to go over the reasons why. Or are you going to say, use a long tail keyword on this post and fill your business site in your post with your long tail keywords, which is what I would personally do, or your secondary and third, you know, your silo content, not your pillar content. There's multiple things, and then we'll go over all that, but, and I'll give you an example of it as well. So are your Q&As, and I didn't touch this yet, are your Q&As optimized? So most people don't realize you can actually, and I'll show you how. So for example, this person asked a question, they haven't answered it. They asked a question, they haven't answered it. Question, haven't answered, haven't answered, haven't answered. So you can go up here from any Google account, you can go into your own personal GMB and go ask a question. Or you can have a separate Gmail account and say, ask a question. And let's say, and I have an automated program that does this too, that literally goes, here's 100 plus or 200 plus questions that people are asking when it comes to electricians. And then I take that information, I create fact pages for each of those subcategories, subpages, and we can use those in here in Q&As. And I like to take 10 or so question and answers, put them in here in your Q&As, ask the question from a separate Gmail account, and then answer it from the property owner's account. Okay. And then as always, use your keywords in your answers and then fill that out. Then I also take those same Q&As and put, put them in a fact section underneath, excuse me, that specific service or location. Most people will go, let's just take all the facts and put them on one page. And I would tell you, take some facts for this service, this service, this service, this service, and put them all underneath their page. So your silos are feeding content to your pillar content. Let's see what else here. Because before we move on, are you uploading images? So everybody always talks about this, and they'll say geotagging doesn't work. What else? Keyword stuffing, your, you know, geo, you can either do it manually, or you can do it if you're an agency, you can do it with software. There is software that does it where it puts in your latitude, longitude, and you can put your keywords in it, and it puts all that data in, and then people upload it and Google scrapes it and removes it. They don't use it, is what most people will tell you. I don't have an, you know, everything I've seen shows that they do remove it. The only time I've seen it not removed is if it's actually, I'm at the location on my phone using the Google app, upload the photo. That's the only time I've seen it actually, in my opinion, work. I can also say, even if it does work, in my opinion, there's better things to use your time for than trying to upload photos and keyword stuff them and everything else. That's just my opinion. I just don't see that one point now. Now, that being said, does that mean you don't name your keyword, your photos of keywords? Let's say garage door handle broke. I'm just giving you an example. I would still name my photos by my keywords and the location, because I've still seen those pulled up in Google image search. They may not matter when it comes to your post. They may strip the geo data out of it, but I've still seen, if you SEO optimize those images, they're still being pulled up in Google image search. That's just my take. I mean, the only thing I would tell you is try it out, test it if you want. I've tested enough to know that I just don't put that much time and effort into geotagging images. Any questions?
Yep, I got a question. What to the GMB post links? What kind of links are you throwing at those? Like, are you doing guest posting, MR links?
I do MR links. I do guest posting links. I do high DA links. It just and this is one area, and Anthony knows this, but where I'm a little bit different than most SEO people. Most SEO people, you go to them as a company and they go, "Hey, I want SEO." This is what they do. Well, I got package 1, package 2, package 3. And in my humble opinion, from what I've seen, why a lot of people do this is it then takes accountability kind of away from them. And this is why I say that, is because they can go, "Well, sir, I was supposed to do 100 backlinks. I did 100 backlinks. I'm sorry you didn't get any rankings, but I can bump you up to package 2 and that'll help you." The way I do things, I go, for example, with me, I go, "Yes, I'm going to give you these backlinks. Yes, I'm going to do all these tasks. Okay, in month 1, I'm going to do all this stuff. And in that month 1, if I don't see the needle start moving the way I want it to move as fast as I want it to move, I change things up and I go, let me try this link, this link, this link, and try to get some niche links or whatever. I don't just go, let me throw it 20 directory links, some tier 1 links, tier 2 links, and I'm going to give you 2 guest posts a month." And you know very well that that's what tends to happen. You see in a lot of these forums, they'll go, "Oh, buy this guest post and guy this guest post, and it costs $30 or $200 or $300. And then you find out, well, it didn't work. I'm sorry, you need another one. You know, there are some other things we're going to go over that I have found that works. Also, you're asking, the other ones I like to use, Anthony, is Quantum Press Wire.
Yeah, I've got Quantum with Lane. Yep. So where do you send the Quantum links exactly?
The same thing.
Okay. Gotcha.
Same thing. MR, and DA, and then some guest posts.
Are those
Money Robot, and there are people that's like, "Oh, it don't work," but we'll go over it and we'll show you some stuff. So,
are you doing a naked URLs, or are you throwing an anchor text for those Google posts,
anchor text.
like straight keyword, or long?
I use long keywords in most of my stuff that are on Google Posts, and there's a reason for that. And we'll go over all of it, but essentially your GMB, I want to fill with your long tail keywords. And the main reason, and most, we'll get through it all, but main reason for that is, let's say if you try to get ranked for just electrician and it's in New York, or it's in a very high populated area, it's going to be much harder. It's going to take longer, right? So, but what most people don't realize is, let's take some long tail keywords, some question answers, some facts, some Quoras, some, different things people are asking on YouTube, etc. And let's throw that information into the website and silo, what we call siloing the content and feeding the pillar content. If I can start getting that long tail keyword starting to rank, it will slowly push the other rankings up. I can tell you, from my opinion, if you just try to go straight for that one little keyword, you're going to have a long, hard road ahead of you if you're not going to concentrate on long tail keywords as well, because they both feed each other. Type of images you're using, we already discussed that, but basically stay away from stock photo. Google hates them. You can get away with using them, but Google does not like them, and they can reject ads, and they will reject your ads if they look like it's stock photo half the time. I have seen people get away with it. For me, most people aren't going to be looking and try to find a stock photo. Are you using videos? Are you using videos in your posts? If you aren't, you should. And then if you are or are not, either way, you need to be optimizing them the same way. Are you using your keyword in your title of your video? Are you using a good description? Do you have your phone number, a link? What type of link are you putting in your video? Using a bit.ly link? Are you using a location service page? What are you using? You know, don't always just use your website link. I would tell you, for example, most of the links I create do not go straight to the money website or your direct website. When I say money website, I mean your actual website, not your other assets. So that's, I mean, this page, if you look over here, I'm going to pull it. So if you go over here to the GMB audit, that's the first thing I need you guys to download. Y'all can use it. And then you have the GMB audit form. Sorry, my internet's just
William, just to clarify, you're saying, are they using videos and posting it on their GMB?
correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Are they using them? Are they posting them on their GMB? And then on top of that, are they also optimizing them, the titles? What keywords are they using? You know, and make a list and try to keep account of all this stuff. And this is why I use spreadsheets. I'm a Google Sheet fanatic because of that. I mean, when we rebuilt 100 and something websites. I did the same thing with that. You're going to want to download the GMB audit form. And then I also have this other one little tad piece I'm going to bring up. Let's see if I can bring this up for you guys. This is spy category. I have so many of these sheets in here. Spammy. So this is a competitor's review Excel sheet. That's in the last tier, and you'll see it. I named it spammy review. Download that Excel sheet. What I use this for, let's say I'm trying to get ranked as, it's a real good one, locksmith in Connecticut. All right. And I'll literally take everybody that's in, let's say, the top 10, and I'll write down their business name. What keywords are they ranking for? Every keyword I want to rank for, I'm going to write them down. And I'm going to say, is their real business name matching what their title is in GMB? If their title saying locksmith Connecticut or residential locksmith Connecticut, and I go to their website and it's called Johnny and Bill's Locksmith, I will report them. This is just me. I'm not telling you necessarily what to do. I'm just telling you it's me, because for me, less competition you have holding up the top 10, the more spaces that are available, higher I'll go up. And then I use a spreadsheet. I go, what action was taken? You know, I put I have all this information. What are they ranking for? What's their business real identity? What's their fake name? What's their Google Map link? What's the problem? Keyword stuffing, obviously. What action did I take? When did I take it? Okay, I did the readdressal form on Google. If you don't know where the readdressal form is, I'll post that up as well. But the readdressal form, and I'll say, I'll fill that out, and then I'll check on it. And Google will actually notify you if they take it down. And I've had them taken down. So I do it specifically when someone's naming something that is not in existence. It's not a real website. It's, for example, let's just do one, Locksmith, Texas. I don't know, you know. It's generally not too hard to find a spammy, or Lead Gen does a lot of this as well too. So Texas Premier Locksmith, Austin Express Keys, Affordable Locksmith, Best Locksmith Dallas, Papa Lock. I know Papa Lock is, you know, a real deal, but let's just go to this guy right here, Texas Premier Locksmith, and let's see if he's actually a real locksmith. By real, I mean a real business with a real business name. You know, is he a lead generation, that sort of thing. And his business name, like I said, when I name stuff, name it that. His website it's an exact domain name, which is txpremierlocksmith.com. And you can see more than likely he is legit. He is the real deal. So I leave him alone. You know, you can go so far as looking up business licenses. And I've seen people do it where they look up the business license and see, hey, what's their business license? Is it actually Texas Premier Locksmith or is it something different? And you'd be surprised. I mean, not really with some of these industries, but you'd be surprised. And this is what I do for every single one of them. So this guy was legit. Let's go to Austin and check this one out. And I use whatever I find in this information and then report them. I can tell you based upon the look of this, he's using a business site. He's using his Google business site. This is another thing we're going to talk about is I also use these and push backlinks to these as well. And we'll get into why I said to use your long tail keywords and use those in posts because your posts show up here. Every single one of these are optimized for, let's say, residential locksmith Austin, 24-hour locksmith Austin. And these are all your posts and everything will go in here as well. But so that's that one.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, can I ask a question about the spammy kind of links on maps? I've got a plumber client and he wants to rank for drain plumbing in Melbourne in Australia. And Maps is absolutely full of just these rubbish listings. Some of them I do report and they get removed straight away, but there's heaps in there that I've tried the Google redressal form. I've tried reporting changes. I've tried just changing.
How often are you reporting them? Do you report them once, twice?
I do it through different accounts sometimes, but multiple times. And sometimes they just sit there. They say Google's reviewing your changes.
So my next step then is I have someone that works with Google that has helped Anthony out as well. So Anthony knows about this person, but I'm going to try to get her on here in the next few days or sometime in the next week or so. But I send clients over to her whenever, let's say your GMB listing is taken down and they say they take it down and you need to re-verify. She helps with re-verification. She helps with readdressals. She helps with all that stuff. And she's a Google partner. And people say, well, anybody can become a Google partner. Well, let me put it this way. Google has flown her out. Not that she just works for them. They've actually flown her out to their headquarters and everything else. And she does work with them. And every client I've sent to her, because I had someone this morning say, hey, is she legit? And I'm like, I wouldn't even mention her if I don't think she's legit. And I know Anthony used her recently. I saw that. And she helped get, 2 new listings reinstated?
Yeah, I had 2 clients that had their listings suspended, and she got both of them reinstated.
How long did it take?
It was pretty quick. One was maybe a day or 2, and the other one was maybe a week.
And normally reinstatements take, from your experience, Anthony, how long?
Oh, a lot longer. Like I had one take a couple months going through just Google without this girl. So at least a couple months.
This is why I keep people, like if I meet them, and she actually lives, I never met the woman, but she actually lives where I used to live in Jacksonville, Florida. Never met the woman, but she works for Google and works with Google and all that stuff. So I'm going to do my best to have her on, but this sheet I use to keep an eye on them, and then I'll report them. And if I can't get them removed, then I will contact Molly and see if Molly can handle it for me.
Okay.
Just want to chime in on that, Carolyn. It's likely that like the higher level local guide that created the listing, the less likely they are to probably remove it. So if you have like a level 10 local guide that created that listing, that could be why they're not taking it down.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. All right. We're going to go ahead and end for the day, but let's go over some question answers you guys may have, and we'll go through all that. And I did get a bunch of emails, and I have put them to a folder, and we will be going over all of them. So don't think I'm not paying attention to them. Definitely paying attention to them. But we'll be going over some of the stuff in later sessions, and some of them in specific sessions. It's like you'll hear me talk about, and Anthony, I know you asked about, is click-through rate manipulation. And then I'm trying my best to have Chris Palmer on, and I'm definitely having Dr. X on, and I'm actually having Craig Campbell on, which most people don't know. But Craig Campbell has agreed. I am going to have him on. He'll talk later, but he's going to talk about just GMB and SEO in general. So
I have a quick question on
Yep.
just the FAQs. When you're doing the FAQs to, beef up your listing, to do the questions, can you do them all from like one Gmail, or do
you can do them all? You can do them all from one Gmail account. I just tell people don't do them all, and don't throw 100 question and answers up in the same day. Don't make it look abnormal. Maybe one a day, one, a couple a week, that sort of thing. And then when you answer them, of course, answer them from the owner's Gmail account.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Can they come from the same IP address, or should it be mixed?
It should be mixed, in my personal opinion.
So are you suggesting go from like a mobile and then a computer, or?
Correct. And I have, and then I have, like, for instance, I have VPNs and I use micro workers. If people don't know what micro workers are, we'll go over that, and I'll give you the assets and websites and all that stuff. Because there are certain things I use for different things. It's like Anthony asked me in regards to CTR, because CTR, why most people don't understand what CTR is, click-through rate manipulation, where I send basically, it's real traffic, but it's paid for traffic. I pay someone that's in that area to send traffic to my listing or to my assets that have to do with that listing. And it gets expensive because you can do it through bots, you do it through program setups, you have to have IP proxies, and proxy alone is like $200 and something. For a good one, you can get cheap proxies, and then when they're cheap proxies, it doesn't work, because it's crap. Then if you do Facebook ads, and I have an itchy suspicion this is what took my account down too. So I was doing CTR through my Facebook ads, which I've done before with no problem, but I really believe Facebook is really cracking down hard, and within a week of starting to run some CTRs for specific client, my Facebook ads went down. My Facebook ads went down, my website, my Facebook account went down, everything. So now I'm going to rebuild, of course, and everything else. So find a different method or use a different account. I have about 6 different accounts I use for CTR. So, but nevertheless, that's one way. Then you can hire micro workers. Then I also use Craigslist, find people in the area, say, hey, I just need you to fill out surveys or, Google searches, stuff like that. And then I do certain things to get them, but you're still going to be paying, anywhere from 5 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents on up per click or per search. And then, you also, it's a lot of factors involved. Trust factor. Are they going to actually do it? You have to have a way of tracking. It's not as simple as, hey, just, get someone ranked and throw some traffic at it, and voila, you're number one. And my geo grid that was red is now green. It's a tedious process. I usually don't do it for a lot of clients, except for the few that want it. And then they have the budget for it, because it's about 3 times more expensive. Even with me, it's about 3 times more expensive as my normal package for SEO. So, and most people will ask me, and I'll tell them the price, and then say, I'll just be patient. I'll just be patient. I'll wait the 6 months or whatever, because they want it. I want it done fast. I'll tell them, give me 3 months or less, and I can have it there. So,
William, can I ask a question?
Yep.
Remember how you were saying about I didn't really get the elaboration on the city name in the title and the GMB. So business name so are you saying bad or good?
No, for me, it depends on how you do it. So if you do it, if you do it the spammy way and just say, "Hey, my business is named John let's say Dallas, Texas plumber," and your real name is what's your name?
The one I'm ranking for is Greaves Automotive.
So Graves Automotive, but let's say, what city are you in?
It's St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada.
So if I change it to Automotive Repair St. Catharines, and your business name is not really that, then that's a bad thing. Now, that being said, if I went and got a DBA, which I could do for $50 or less, and made it look legit and made my electric bill, I changed my electric bill to Automotive Repair St. Catharines or whatever, and got some of my bills put in that name. And then if I made the title change and I changed it to, let's say, Automotive Repair in your city, it should be fine. However, Google, as of late, you would not be violating Google terms of service because you followed the rules.
Okay.
You know, there are people that hate it and they'll say, well, you're not supposed to do it at all. And you tell them, say, no, actually the terms of service say it just needs to be named the business name. So you just need to have it named the business name. As long as you're doing that, you're fine. Now, if Google tries to take you down because you say, oh, well, you're not legit, then you have to do a readdressal. Then I have Molly. If that don't work, I have Molly and she gets it up within 24, 48 hours. You know, and what she's not doing nothing crazy. All she literally does is send me your business license, send me your
signage.
Yeah, your signage, and then send me your, I'm trying to think because I don't rent anymore, but whatever they call it, rental agreement. And your rental agreement should have that business name on, electric bill, stuff like that. She's asking for that, saying, show me the proof that that's your business name. And if you have that, it's up within usually 24 hours, unless it's a hard suspension. There's a difference between a soft suspension and a hard suspension, you know, depending on who it's coming from. There are ones that take longer than a day or two, but that's also because they're probably doing some really spammy crap that Google doesn't like. But I personally would do it. You know, and I know why. I've seen people do it, and they used to be, let's say, number 10, and the only thing they did was change the damn title, and then now they're in the top 3.
Yep, I can tell you it's the business name in the GMB is the single biggest ranking factor in maps.
Yep,
100%.
That's what most people don't understand. It's like whenever a lot of people, even, they're doing rank and rent or setting up their own assets, which I do both. So I do my own SEO, I do rank and rent, and I have my own assets. And then you'll buy or set up your own GMBs. And then I always consistently use the keyword, location, exact domain name match, all that. So.
Hey, William, can you tell us about what you use the EMDs for? Still need to figure that one out.
The exact domain names?
Yeah, sorry.
So I have a couple of things. So for example, I will create an exact domain name and I will use it as my money site. I have them where I do it that way. Let's say I want to be Dallas, Texas plumber. So I go buy an expired domain name. I look for the exact domain name match. I use that for my SEO purposes as my money site. Then I also have areas where, okay, it's a client, specifically where agencies, okay, let's call it Sam's Plumbing, or someone plumbing, and they don't have the keyword they don't have a keyword, or they don't have the location in the domain name, and they don't want to switch, don't want to start all over. I'll go buy an exact domain name that's expired. I'll recreate that website. I'll show you this whole process eventually, but I recreate the website as much as possible, without looking like it's plagiarized, of course, and use that, and then feed link juice to it, and then feed that over to the other website.
As a link or as a redirect?
As a redirect. I do redirects, and then I also do links. I do 301 redirects, and then I also do straight out links.
To inner pages or just the home page?
Inner pages, never the home page.
Sweet, thanks.
Yep. So, and we'll go over why do you buy, expired domain names and everything. Anthony's well advanced. So, but expired domain names, and we'll talk about the Google sandbox. Does it exist, and how to get out of it, and how to avoid it, and all that stuff.
William, quick question. I think you did mention that you will eventually show us how to integrate a link within the Google post of the previous posts.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
So yeah, so what you're asking about, so let's say I go do a post today, right? But I did, let's say, last week's post, or a very popular post even, not just any post, but one that actually got a lot of traction. Let's say I was using Bitly for tracking, or I was using something that said, let's say I got 100 views on this post. I will take, whenever I go to create the ad copy, just like you can create a post, and we'll go over all this, but you create the post, upload the image, put the copy in there. And now when you use Learn More, you're linking it to, let's say, Bitly or your maps or whatever. Then I take a previous post and, excuse me, I also put that in the ad copy. In the post copy, let me show you.
But my only thing was, is there a way to automate that or no?
No, I use VAs. That's the only automation I use. I don't use automated. And a lot of people, I have, people get pissed off, but whatever. I use local Falcon. I don't use local Viking. I have no reason other than this. I've seen too many people in our group that are in that group mention they use local Viking. Then I have other people say I use local Viking, then this got suspended, or I did this and this happened. I don't know, because I've never used it. I simply use local Falcon because I use it for the GeoGrids. That's the only reason I even use it, right? And local Viking does automate a lot of the postings and stuff, but you still have to have someone that sets it up, right? And for me, I can hire VA much cheaper than most of the software. If you're an agency running, let's say with us, 80 plus clients, and I go to use the software, it's not going to be cheap. It's just not. And that's why a lot of agencies white label with us, because I can save an agency $2,000-3,000 a month just on software.
Maybe I can recommend one to you. I'll send it to you in a private chat.
Yep, send that over to me, because I don't use any of the automation, but we just literally post it all ourselves and everything. If you had a way to automate it, it'd be wonderful. At one point, I was using a scheduler. I do use Vendasta for GMBs and scheduling it, but like I said, even with that, I still have my VA that schedules it. But if you want to add, let's say, outside of GMB and Facebook, Vendasta costs me, what I'm at, like $400 a month or something. But that's
what Vendasta from Canada?
Just using the basics. But if you go to add in, let's say, the citations and citation builder and all that other stuff, you get charged, upcharge for everything. And for me, I just rather use my VAs. So that's the only reason I've ever used my VAs. But I use local Falcon, like I said, for my grids.
Thank you. We'll do another shot.
Any other questions?
I have a question. You were talking about getting question and answers specific to different categories. And I missed part of what you were talking about on that, like where you get those, like their list of them.
I'm going to actually show y'all and demo it. It's a software. I'm going to probably do that tomorrow, the next day. But basically, you put in, let's say it's locksmith, or let's say the one was lice removal. We were talking yesterday. A woman had lice removal. I type in lice removal. Maybe she has different. I don't know anything about lice except I don't want them. But there's different. You have, let's say your pillar content as a roofer. I can tell you it's roofing, gutters, siding, home improvement, those things, right? I take this information, I put it into the software spits out for me what are people asking on Google when you go to do a search. For example, let me show you real quick over here. We'll screen share it for you. If we were to go in here and Google, and let's type in, so once this pulls up, we're going to type in something like roof repair costs. You ever seen all these down here? It's usually, let's get it done. Related searches usually down here. Roof repair cost calculator, roof repair cost near me, roof repair near me, cost to roof repair, rotted roof, roof leak repair, average cost to tear off and replace the roof. All these you could use as Q&As. Every single one of them. Then if you go on to yahooanswers.com, you can use those. You can go into Quora. You know, Quora is an answer forum, and it's the same thing. This software I use just automates it, you know, for me. So it makes my life a lot easier. Software costs me 200 plus a year. So, and they have hundreds of softwares this guy does. So, but I specifically want GMB stuff. But you could see when I typed in roof repair costs, you got this guy coming up here. So roof calculator, roofing calculator. Then you got home advisor. You can get information from them. You can use Uber Suggest to come up with, you know, items, if you will, of what you would like to do for that. But what we'll do is tomorrow we'll go through it and show you the actual software. But let me pull this up, see if I can get it to pull up, because it gives you keyword ideas. Your main keyword could be, let's say, you know, disinfection services. What else could it be? What are people asking? Can disinfecting, you know, services remove dog urine, cat urine? How much does disinfection services cost? All these different things you could type in and, you know, create Q&As off of them. And then you take those Q&As and put them at the bottom of that specific service page, not just put them all on one Q&A page or fact page like most people do. Most people just go, let me throw it all on one fact page and that's it, you know.
You also put them in your GMB under the question and answers?
Yes. I just don't do them all at one time. I do them about 10 a month for a client. There was another question asked here. Does it matter if, okay. Do brand new, not expired EMDs have any benefit? In my opinion, no. I mean, you're gonna wind up in the sandbox. We'll get to that. Basically, the sandbox is Google wants to go, okay, you're a brand new website. Are you legitimate? Are you real? Do you have any backlinks? Is there any information about you on the web? Until Google sees such data, they put you where no one finds you, basically. That's Google sandbox. Does it exist? I've seen people in them. Have I ever been in one? No. But then again, I do things a little bit different. I will go to expired domains and I will buy an expired domain names. There are certain things I look for. How many backlinks they have. Was it a spammy website? Do they got a ton of backlinks and they're just spammy? How old is it? Are they using hyphens? Are they not using hyphens? We'll go through all that stuff because we're basically going to take it from like as if we're almost building a site. I want y'all to know everything. So I just don't use them unless they've been expired. But then
You
again,
have to rebuild the site on the expired domain before you do the redirect?
no, you don't have to. I mean, I've just seen benefits to it. So
Thanks.
you can also do, and you know this, you can buy expired news sites. You can look up, let's say, Charlotte News and buy expired domain names that have Charlotte News and then create your own quote unquote news network. You know, you can do all types of stuff, Google News and everything. Does it matter if facts are visible or they can be inside accordions? I put them in accordions. I mean, I've never had an issue with it. So I understand why you're asking that though, because some people say like JavaScript and different things makes it harder for the spiders. I don't think it does anymore. I know, let's say 10 years ago maybe, but not anymore. Any other questions?
Yes, about the post. Let's say I'm posting every day, but is a matter if the post is short, like let's say 20 words, and is a difference is going to be 20 words or 150 words for each post?
You can only use a certain amount of words in a post anyways. So, and think of it this way, a post, you want it to be like a snippet, let's say a paragraph to get people to take an action and click on your learn more link. Do you want it just to be 20 words? In my opinion, no, because I treat it just like a website. You want to optimize it and use as much content as possible.
Okay, I understand. But have you ever tested like do 50 words and do 100? Is a difference about the ranking? Have you ever tried?
I've never in my efforts just taken 20 words and putting 20 words on a post and seeing if it worked.
Okay. What about the picture? Is a difference if I'm gonna adding, let's say, 5 pictures per day and 50?
Google, the thing is, you got to understand with Google is, does it look legit? Does it look real? Does it look like spam? If you go on there and just start loading, tons of posts and pictures, they may start thinking it's spam and they will take some down. I've seen people do it. I've seen them get rejected and then they don't understand why they get rejected. The only common denominator I've ever seen is how many are you uploading at one time? Or how many posts are you doing one time? Pictures, not so much, mainly because you can upload as many pictures as you want at one time. But I would rather see it look like it's real and it's authentic. Post, a few a day here, a few a day here, a few a day here over time and let it build up. Because Google wants the same thing with your website. They want to see new content being pushed out on a regular basis, not, all at one time. I got a bunch of content and just push it all out. And then I don't push any more content out for days on,
Okay. And so how many pictures I should posting every day?
I only post about 10 pictures a month. It's my, my take and what I do, but.
Just per month?
Yep. Per month. I don't do a bunch of them per day. I do a few a week and that's about it.
Okay. But you posting every day?
Yeah, I post every day though. We post not 7 days a week. We post Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If the business is open Saturday and Sunday, we'll do that as well. But I literally only have one client that's open up on Saturday, so that we deal with.
Okay.
Can you post, let's say, once a week, twice a week? Yes, but I can also say from the studies I've seen and from instances where I've done it, I've taken someone that's only post twice a week and then make them where they're posting 5 days a week and their views go up and their traffic goes up just by doing that versus just doing it once or twice a week.
Okay. What about the posting video? Have you ever tried like posting one video per day and
I just don't do it per day. I mean, you gotta understand I deal with 80 plus clients, so I can't really, it's not affordable for me to do it per day because you got to pay. You have to create all those videos, have to come up with all the content for all the videos. Now, if you just gave me 30 videos and said post them every day, I could do it. But we'll try to use them and post them on, on their GMB once a month at minimum.
Okay, but have you ever tried tested on just one GMB if is making different posting more videos?
No.
You never tested?
No, not with the amount of volume we deal with. No.
Oh, okay.
Now if someone wants to test it and they got the time to do, a video a day, I'd even talk to my one friend James and see if he's ever done it because he's the YouTube guy and video guy, see if he's ever going to test it and see.
Okay, let me know about the picture. You say not using the stock photo, but let's say if I have a software to remake this picture, so every picture is going to be different size, little cut off. Can I use them?
I would have to see what the quality of the pictures are. Google, like,
Picture is any different, is there dash or not in a domain name? If you got keywords, you got keywords. That's it. It's a no big difference. From my experience, I tried a lot of domain for different names. I get hundreds of them. Usually I was doing like PAMI SEO, so I never saw the difference.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm back.
I got a couple of questions, if I may.
Yep.
The question number one, does the IP address from which I'm posting to GMB make a difference? Like, let's say right now I'm in Vietnam, most of my clients are in Canada. If I'm posting stuff, should I be using VPN? And if I use VPN, I think, wouldn't Google be smart enough to know the IP addresses of the VPN services?
I haven't seen it do. I mean, I just can tell you from my experience is all I can do. I use VPNs, but I use VPNs for other things such as backlinking. When it comes to backlinks, I have to have multiple VPSs and VPNs for everything we do. But when it comes to just posting on GMB, like I said, I use just straight from my computer, my IP address, and no problem. I've never had a problem. And I have people all the time say, well, you better use a different VPN, because if you don't, they're going to ban you. And I have yet to have that experience. And I've talked to dozens of people, never have had that experience. So I haven't seen it being an issue. So have you?
All right, now,
have you had that?
No, I have not. That's why. No, I have not. That's why I was asking about it. Now, the other question I have is in WordPress, I use plugin called Blog to Social that allows me to, share content amongst different things. Do you think there's a possibility of having problems, by the plugin posting to GMB because it's kind of automated?
The only reason I don't use a lot of automated things is because it's a very, for me, SEO is a very complex thing. It's not just, in this sense at least, it's not just create content and post it on social media. Now, can I take that plugin and when I create the blog, and can I make it use my Google Maps, and can I make it use my short links and bit.lys and all that, and then post to my social media and my GMB, then great. But if it doesn't, then I'm not going to want to automate it because I want things to be done a certain way.
All right.
That's the only
one
reason.
more thing about, makes sense. One more thing about using Bitly. If you're using Bitly and you look at the number of referring domains to, let's say, your website, wouldn't using too many Bitly links be disadvantageous because it looks like you have a lot of referrals?
I haven't seen it do that. Only thing I've seen is benefits. The moment I start seeing it, affect anything on the negative way, I would not be using it. And I've been using it for the past month or so, and I've seen nothing but benefits from it. And then when I looked at that one guy, I've looked at a couple of posts that, in very spammy niches where that's what they do, so.
Okay. One more, if I may. In a lot of my client cases, the chances of them changing their business name is next to impossible. Would you risk adding, the city and keyword to their GMB name, or would you not risk it?
I've done it and it's not been an issue. Can it be an issue? Yes. I mean, because here's the thing, you gotta think about it this way. If I have a client and I just want to go in there and I want to change their business name and I'm going to do that, Google's going to look at the data aggregators and the data that's out there in your citations and stuff doesn't match what you're putting in your GMB. And if it does not, it can create problems. Now, let's say you wanted to go through the process of doing all that, you'd have to, before I'd ever change a GMB, I would go through all my citations and make sure all my citations match my new business name.
Tons of work. Yeah.
And that's a lot of work. I would almost go for, let me just create a new GMB with new tier 1 citations, tier 2 citations, data aggregators, new website, all that before I'd try to even begin to create and go through the citations. The only reason I can do that even effectively is because I literally, when we create the citations, we put them all in a spreadsheet. I have the URLs, the username, passwords, everything. and I have to create, and I have to have hundreds of emails to do so. And the only reason I can do that is because I have my own host, my own server, stuff like that. It's just a lot of work to do it.
Yeah, we kind of have the same thing, but it's just going through, 200, existing business entries and redoing them is a lot of time, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Thanks.
Next question, someone said, was Bright Local replacement? I don't use Bright Local. I don't use any of those for, and I mentioned this, it was Yext, where in Yext's terms of service, the moment you stop paying them, they don't take your listings down, which they're using semantics. They don't take your listings down. They just stop reporting them, which is the equivalent of, let's say, I used to pay the bank and, now I don't pay the bank no more. So I no longer get interest, or whatever. So yes, you're going to lose your listings. Bright Local, if I was going to use anything, would probably be Bright Local. Do I use Bright Local? No, because I have VAs.
No, well, I was looking on that side. You and I actually had a discussion about this, about the citations. I'm not really worried about that. I do like what you do manually. But what I was asking is the reporting side of it. Do you have another one that really makes, because that's what my clients like. They like to see the reporting where they have that incline of how many reviews. What do you suggest to use?
So whenever it's coming through reviews, you're talking about outside of Google My Business is what I'm assuming, correct?
No, I mean like everything, like every report from the rankings, like Bright Local gives you the rankings,
the rankings and all the pretty little reports and everything.
Yeah, the pretty reports.
Yeah, currently, right? Yeah, and that's what people love. And currently, right now, I actually, because it's how many out of everybody I have with me, I have 4 of them that are actually software engineers. So out of, let's say, 15 of our guys, 4 of them are software engineers. One of them is working on a software for reporting. And that's part of the reason why is if I was to go to the software I like Dash Clicks and a bunch of other ones, they're generally very expensive once you start scaling. And once you get, let's say, past 20 clients and you're in 50, it gets even more expensive. Then once you're at 80 to 100, it's astronomical. But, in my opinion, and I would just rather, in what I intend on doing, I'd rather develop my own software, use my own software, and I pay my guy a little extra for having made it. You know what I'm saying? So, and we're going to be using that for the software because right now my reporting, for me, what I tend to do is I use the Google Search Console, Google Analytics, the Google Data Center or Google Data Studio. Then I also have for ranking factors that show all their rankings and numbers going up and stuff. Besides Local Falcon and the grids, I actually have it's called All-in-One Power Suite. I use that. I also use Ahrefs. Does it give me the reviews and stuff? No, but for me, to me, it's more important for the Google reviews, and I can get that from Insights. And I could say, well, this many reviews, this is what you received. Is it more work for me? Yes, but I'm not going to pay someone until I can, I'll do my manual reviews and manual reporting until, we can get our software done. So.
Yeah, I use High Level for that part for my clients.
Yeah, me and High Level, I'd love to use High Level, but I use leads generated for nurturing. And like I believe me and you had the conversation. I use High Level, but until they bring their SEO up to par, I'm not going to dump assets into it. So.
Oh God, no! I would never put the High Level sites. No, but honestly, the review side of it, the two-way chat, they just put in a bot. It's really good, that part of it.
Yeah, leads generated is probably going to be doing that. He's working on the nurturing, and then leads generated, if I showed it, I'll probably show you guys. We might cover some of it, but basically I can do a lot of leads. I can do heat maps, and besides my heat maps, my geogrids, and I can do my GMB lead generation and all that. Think of it this way. If you were going to take High Level and make it any better, throw in the SEO, throw in the GMB, I'll be on board. Until then, I have no interest in, getting into it. But leads generated is great for that purpose, but they also have the forms just like high level and stuff. So, and
What is high
I'm
level?
high level is basically a nurturing program where leads come into you. It's a CRM where you keep track of all your leads and you can nurture them and keep in communication with them. Same thing with leads generated, except high levels, much more advanced, but leads generated is going to be coming out with even more advanced stuff, in my opinion. Leads generated is great for GMB work. You know, and I got turned on that by another agency that's in the process of scaling themselves. So, is it a good idea to create sub pages with content on main website and link out to citation sites? I do that, and I actually had someone the other day we talked, and they do what they'll do is, let's say for example, instead of buying a new domain name, they'll do a subdomain name and then take their links and create links to them. And yes, it does work. It's a good idea. What was reverted by Google? I did it once. It was reverted by Google. Now, if you're talking about the subdomain name, I'm not saying I use the subdomain name on, okay, you change your business name and to add a location. The reason why Google will do that is the sheer fact, the other question I would have for you would be, when you changed your business name and added your location, did you also put that data in the top 3 data aggregators as well as your tier 1 citations, tier 2 citations? If you did not, that's why Google would have reversed it back. That's why. You know, you can try to get away with it. I actually did it recently myself and got away with it. I have been getting away with it for that specific client for the past 2 months, and they have started ranking higher. So, all right, I need to get off here. I got lots to do today, but it was a good session, and we're going to meet back. Give me about an hour, and I'll have this uploaded onto the back end. And tomorrow there'll be more information in there as well.
Thanks for your time, William.
I appreciate
Thank you,
guys.
William.
Have a good
Thanks.
day.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care.
See you later.
Later.